Hello YouTube, I'm back with the next Yu-Gi-Oh review, and today I'm reviewing the Structure Deck Yugi 2, or Volume 2. This is a structure deck that was used in Japan a long time ago. So now, if you ever want to get your hands on it, it's going to cost you a pretty penny, I'm sure. I know I don't remember what I paid for getting this, but I know I got this on eBay. It was probably the only place you're really going to find it nowadays. But there's a lot of nice cards in it. You're probably better off actually just trying to build the deck in English. Since all the cards exist in English, you're probably going to have... I mean, it might come... Because I think now you'd probably have to spend like 40-50 bucks for the entire deck if you were to buy it. Either sealed or not sealed. I don't know what... I think sealed would probably be a little more expensive. Probably 60 even. I know the Pegasus deck, I've seen that one very rarely. It's usually very high priced. 100 bucks. It just goes to show you how rare that deck is. You probably, I mean, you might be able to get away. I mean, because the decks will be in English for the most part. You'd be able to use them in a tournament. Although I probably would not recommend it, though. I mean, you're probably not likely going to win with it. And I think there may be a few banned cards in there too. I mean, the Japanese Pegasus deck has Raigeki in it, so which did become tournament legal, but still, you can't use Japanese cards anyway in English tournaments. But overall, looking at the structure deck, there's a lot of nice cards in here. It's kind of sort of Battle City based. When you got Dark Paladin here, that was definitely from Battle City. It's an ultra rare card here. And if we skim through, you got a card he used against the Rare Hunter, Chain Destruction. Not that great of a card, but I mean, it's not. This isn't too bad of a deck. It kind of sort of goes into details of his various decks, including his Buster Blader, which we didn't have. We got a retrained version and a fusion. And Breakers of Shadow not too long ago. Big Shield Gardna. One of the strongest, the highest defense we had until we got Destiny Hero Defender. I mean, a lot of nice cards in here. I mean, United We Stand is a common. Not a bad card. I mean, 800 attack. Your monster powers up your monster by 800 points for each of your monsters on the field. Not bad. Which means itself, it's going to start off at 800. It's going to be close. It's going to be better than all the other cards that usually give 500 attack, like Black Pendant and Lucky Iron Axe, but it's going to be better than some of the other cards in the game that actually give less than that. It'll be just under cards like Axe of Despair, but even then, it's sometimes better than Axe of Despair because you can give a higher boost. Axe of Despair doesn't really care how many monsters you have in the field. It's 1,000 attack for free. And the other new cards in here, this is the reason why they're foil, I think, is because they were brand new. Magical Dimension. It's another holo foil card. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that gives you a pretty good idea. I've relatively kept these in relative mint condition. As you'll see later, the Marek deck, a couple of cards are not in great shape. I'll explain through that later. But, I mean, it's nice to have a whole bunch of nice cards, including some of the cards he didn't actually use, but are definitely good for this deck, like Roll Decree. Although, oddly enough, there are a fair number of trap cards in here. I think for the most part, this is based on Battle City. Well, it's kind of strange they've included cards like... Oh, what is this? Oppressed People, I think? They include all 3 cards in here. Yeah, United Resistance is... including the trap card that goes with it. Huge Revolution. But there's definitely some nice cards in here, too. I mean, you got Tribute... Let's see. A lot of the cards you use, some of these cards, I think... We didn't get these in English for a long time. We didn't get Dark Magic Urton in English until the release of the first premium pack, when it came in English for us. A lot of these cards were already released. I mean, you got Classic Pot of Greed in here. That's pretty cool. It's nice, always nice to see that. And if you ever, this will also give you some idea of what the cards are like in Japanese, because they're a little bit different in terms of how they feel, and I think that may be somewhat of why you can't use them in tournaments. They actually have a bit of a glossy feel to them. Which is why you can't necessarily use that as an excuse for why a card is a counterfeit. Back in here. This will also give you some idea of what the cards are like in Japanese, especially because the artwork is different. I mean, this is Spellbinding Circle, but unless you knew that, you're not going to have a clue what this card is supposed to be. I mean, a lot of these cards I actually had to look up and get a rough translation, so if I wanted to actually use them for fun, I had to actually make sure I knew what the cards were. But a lot of the cards, I mean, some of the cards, I mean, for tournaments, I think in some ways this is justified. Okay, yeah, the artworks are different for some of them. But at the same time, certain cards like Mirror Force, that's the same in any language. It doesn't matter. I figure, if I were in charge, okay, You can use Japanese cards, but you must not only be consistent, pick one or the other, Japanese or English, and then you also must, I think for cards that do not have that shouldn't need a translation are ones that have the same artwork on all cases. Mirror Force has it. Let's see. Or are so, granted, tiny little changes, removing a halo, that would count towards no changes, because, you're not going to notice the difference on that. But things like Monster Reborn, yeah, you would need a change, because the artwork is different. It makes it look like a completely different card. So I could easily see someone going, oh, yeah, well, I can just use this card, and I can basically make up whatever effect I want, and you'll never know the difference. And speaking of Monster Reborn, here it is. This is Monster Reborn. If you watch the anime, you'll probably get a better idea. Because, the card, they mention what the cards are, so you go, oh, okay, yeah, that's Monster Reborn. Didn't know that before, but, this is also, you'll notice this is probably the more classic design for the cards. Later on, I do have the first Joey structure deck in Japan, which is a different formatting. The text boxes are all smaller, the artwork is bigger. Although in a sense, they kind of sort of went back to that with the new formatting. Although they bumped up the spacing for the star level between the name and stuff like that is a lot smaller. Basically non-existent nowadays. They made the artwork bigger. They lightened up the text box. They changed how the cards are worded. In fact, even Japan did that too. Japan is what started it, really, but they actually they have all these numbers now. We didn't get that, thankfully. I think that was kind of stupid, but anyways, Japan. Here's a huge revolution. The card needed to summon, or doesn't summon anything, but it's like a major, I think it destroys all cards on the field or something like that. It's pretty powerful, relatively, but I wouldn't recommend it. And you also got the alternate art Dark Magician in here as well. Obviously, if they included Dark Magic Curtain, they would have to include the Dark Magician. They actually went away from it and went alternate artwork. Let me see. Here's the other card. Yeah, I think this is United Resistance right here. So, you can also see how the cards were worded back in the day. Sangan in here does not have the wording. It's not worded like it is now, where you can't activate cards or effects at the same name. Yeah, I think. Oh no, the other one, the one with high defense, was oppressed people. I think this is. Yeah, is that true? Yeah, yeah, and this is people running about. Yeah, it's the name of the card. Go figure. I have no idea why they made it. They may not. They may look back on it and go, "Why on earth did I make it?" But whatever. They released it now, so it's also nice to get. Let's see. I don't know if I brought up Dark Magic Curtain. There it is. There's. Yeah, see if I can show you the foil, the glossiness on the card. There's a definite sheen to it. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. Yeah, there it goes. If I move it across the screen, the lights reflect on it differently. And I wish I could show you an English card to kind of give you a better idea. There's a definite feel. There's a definite additional feel to it. I'm not sure why they did it, but it's kind of cool that way. It's kind of sort of like those parallel rares, those Hobby League promo cards in English, where they actually have a foil on top of the card. That's kind of what it feels like, if you really want an idea. Although that foil comes off pretty easily. Granted, some of these cards are probably going to be dead draws in your hand now and then. It's nice to have cards like Fusion Gate in here. Here's that. It's Fusion Gate. Some of the cards used in the anime, so if you're a fan of the anime, I'd get this deck. Probably in English, preferably. And here's the alternate Dark Magician girl. She's in here too. And one thing to note is that one thing Japan does differently than us is that when they reprint a card that's like, I don't know, not its original print. It's I don't know if you can see it that well on here. But if you look carefully, it says replica on the bottom of the. See if I can get a better shot at it. Might help if I actually put my fingers away and. Can you? Yeah, you might be able to see it. Yeah, I think it's just visible on the screen here. They don't do it the same way we do. I think it only applies to certain cards, though. So cards like there's their promo cards or like championship cards or whatever that will get reprinted differently. But yeah, this is definitely It's a nice deck. You get to play with cards you can't use in tournaments anyway. I mean, this deck would probably not be tournament legal anyway. Only right off the bat, just because they're in Japanese. If you get the deck in English, which will take you a while, granted. Because I mean, although I'm sure some tournament stores will have like a whole bunch of they'll have boxes of commons. You can probably get a bunch of them from here, but you'll need the full spoiler. I think the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki has them all up in English, has all the cards that are in it, which is very helpful. I would definitely recommend it. The wiki is definitely something you can trust because people there do not accept vandalism. They will, especially since I'm actually a member of that wiki, so I actually will do my best to corral the vandalism. I can't ban the user, but I can report them for it. I often revert their edits as soon as they come in, or as soon as possible. This is also noteworthy because of this is on Bremer of the Dark, which you notice it's got the Japanese name written actually in the artwork. It's only in the Japanese version. I don't think it's in any other version, but it's a bit noteworthy. It's kind of cool that way, but I don't know. I see why they removed it. It doesn't really need to be there. I think that's why they did it for that. But I mean, this kind of gives you an idea of what Yugi might have ran if he actually updated his deck for the era, for a later season. Some of these cards are used later. I think Emblem of Dragon Destroyer, which is right here, was used by him later in Season 5, but I think for the most part, that didn't exist, obviously, when this was created. This was, like, very old. I mean, it's a fun deck to play with. I would not, obviously, again, don't take it to a tournament. You're going to get disqualified for it. I can pretty well guarantee you that. Unless it's a Japanese tournament, then you're going to be paying a fortune to get over there. Unless you're, like, next door or something like that. You're going to pay a fortune to get a flight over there. And I don't think that would be worthwhile just to go to a tournament and say, hey, I can play this deck now. Because even then, you're probably going to go all the way there. You're going to spend, I don't know, 6 hours just to fly there. Lots of money. Then you need to find the tournament, and then when you finally find the tournament, you're probably going to lose immediately, because, I mean, everyone else is playing the more top-tier decks or whatever, and you're going to end up playing an off-the-counter structure deck. That's probably going to cost you the duel. I mean, you might have some lucky moments, I'm sure. I won't rule out that you'll have a shot, but you're not going to do very well, because a bunch of these cards are going to be dead draws in certain places, so. But yeah, definitely if you're a fan of the anime, if you like Yugi Moto, I'd get this deck. Obviously, probably building it in English, as I said before, but this is probably one of the less... I've seen this deck on eBay every once in a while. It's less expensive than the Pegasus deck. For reasons beyond me, I guess. Because, I mean, I think they were released relatively, not too far after each other. I think it may have been like a, they were probably all released in the same year. Maybe not the same month, but... it's a good way to get used to the new cards, see how they all look, especially if you've never seen the card before. But again, if you're going to use it, you're going to need probably some sort of translation. The wiki is probably a good place to go, because that has all the artworks of cards. There are differences from when they were released from the anime and the card game, but that's my review on Structure Deck Yugi Volume 2. Thanks for watching.